TOEFL, or the test of English as a foreign language, evaluates and grades its fluency in non-native English speakers. It is offered by ETS, the same organization that conducts the GRE. Qualifying the test ensures your ability to follow university classroom-level listening, reading, and speaking. It is a way for foreign universities to ensure that you're not at a disadvantage for a lack of basic comprehension of the language. So you can say that TOEFL is not just another standardized test, but rather a means to evaluate foreign students on a fair and universal baseline. There are two types of tests: the internet-based test, or IBT, and the paper-based test, or PBT. You can choose either format based on your preference, although the majority of test takers go for the IBT for its ease and convenience. What makes the TOEFL stand out among other English proficiency tests is its universal recognition. It is also highly accessible and incredibly fair in scoring. If you're looking to establish an official proof of your competence of the English language for higher education, immigration, or otherwise, stay tuned as we lay out the basics of the test, especially the advantages of TOEFL, its eligibility, the exam pattern, test dates, format, and TOEFL preparation. What does the score report contain? How do you send the score to your desired institute? And how can you get your hands on sample TOEFL tests for practice? All of this coming up next. We have mentioned how the TOEFL stands out as an excellent proof of fluency in the English language. The TOEFL advantage assures complete fairness in scores through its centralized scoring network, minus the intervention of individual test centers. TOEFL scores are widely accepted. In fact, the preferred language test in over 11,000 universities across the world, including USA, Canada, Australia, UK, and various countries in Europe and Asia. 90% of American universities accept and actually receive TOEFL scores over any other English language proficiency test in the world. The same is true for Canadian universities, where 8 out of 10 universities prefer and receive TOEFL, nearly 100% of British schools, and all universities in Australia and New Zealand accept TOEFL scores. While it is the primary test of language fluency for universities in English-speaking countries, it also has wide acceptance in non-English-speaking European countries. And yes, there's an app for TOEFL. Ease of preparing, test booking and registration, unlimited number of allowed attempts, and free score reports included in registration also makes TOEFL quite appealing to students. We'll cover the details shortly. Let's talk about the eligibility criteria for TOEFL. Though mainly taken by students who are planning to study abroad, where the medium of instruction is primarily English, it is also offered to individuals using it for immigration purposes or applying for a work visa in a country where English is at least one of the languages of communication. Students who want to enroll in an English language learning program in their home country or abroad, scholarship or certification candidates as part of their eligibility to receive the same, individuals who seek to develop their fluency in English and want to track their progress. Essentially, anyone who wants to evaluate their reading comprehension, writing capacity, and spoken English skills can opt for the TOEFL. ETS also offers the test of English for international communication for job seekers looking to establish their fluency in English in a global workplace. Let's talk about the exam pattern and syllabus for TOEFL. The content of the TOEFL test is focused on evaluating the test taker's ability to understand basic instructional level English needed to actively participate in a classroom environment. To do so, TOEFL IBT examines your understanding in 4 separate sections: reading, listening, speaking, and writing, for a total of 3.5 hours. Your communication skills are tested by reading or listening to questions and speaking or writing in response. According to ETS, here's the exam pattern and syllabus in the 4 tested sections. Each section carries 30 points, and the maximum TOEFL score is 120. In reading, you're expected to read and comprehend passages. There are 3 main objectives: your ability to identify key facts and information, understanding a basic topic, the key information, details, contextual meaning of words, passage inference and such, understanding the organization and intent of a passage, the relationship of ideas with respect to the context, and organization of information. In the listening section, you're quizzed on the audio content that is played for you during the test to identify one of 3 skills: whether you're able to identify the key points and the intent of the audio, understand the speaker's attitude and intent, ability to understand and categorize information. In the speaking section, you're required to respond to situations that resemble real life. There are 2 tasks that correspond to an independent task where you speak about a familiar topic Another integrated task requires you to combine your other listening and reading skills to respond to questions. Similar to the speaking section, in the writing section you will have an independent and an integrated task to combine your reading and listening skills. There's also a mandatory 10-minute break to stretch your leg and brain muscles. This new pattern has been greatly shortened from its earlier 4.5-hour version. So fewer questions and a shorter test than before makes TOEFL even more appealing for the busy professional or college student. Let's talk about exam preparation for TOEFL. ETS provides a set of steps to strategize your TOEFL preparation. To begin with, it helps to know your target score and the likely time when you'll be taking the test. This is usually based on the average scores of current and former students in the programs you're targeting and your current fluency in English. The next step would be to become familiar with the test. Both ETS and a multitude of online sources like Kaplan, Princeton Review, and more have many free sample tests that you should certainly attempt. Rinse and repeat the practice test process to track your progress. For all the sections, it helps to read daily newspapers, listen to radio programs in English, preferably British or American programs, so you become familiar with the language spoken with a Western accent. Moving on to the test dates and test centers. The test is offered over 50 times in a year across various centers. To book a date and center for the internet-based test, go to ets.org. We'll share the exact link in the description. All the test centers don't offer the test on the given dates at the same time. You can use their location tool to find out which one is available on a particular testing date. For the paper-based test, a list of test centers and dates are available on the same site. Let's talk about the TOEFL test fee and registration process. The test fee varies by country. You should register at least 7 days before the test date. Any later date would activate the late registration fee of $40, in addition to the usual fee. Late registration is open until 2 days prior to the test date. You can also reschedule your test for $60. The TOEFL fee can be paid by credit or debit card, electronic check, PayPal, paper check, or money order. You can get a 50% refund if you cancel 4 days before the test date. TOEFL allows a fee reduction to students with financial need, but this is only available to American residents. You can book your test in one of 3 ways: online, by phone, or by mail. Before you register, you must have a valid passport ready as an ID proof. TOEFL scores are divided into 4 sections, with 30 points for each. Your TOEFL score report will contain the score for each section, the total score, as well as a new feature called My Best, where your best scores from all your TOEFL attempts in the past 2 years are shown. TOEFL scores are valid for 2 years. Your TOEFL exam fee includes free downloadable copies of your test score that are available online in approximately 6 days after the test date. The exam fee also allows free score reports to be sent to 4 institutions or agencies that you select before taking the test. Score reports are sent electronically or by mail after approximately 11 days after the test. Additional score reports can be ordered after 6 days of the test date for a fee of $20 each. You can order online through the TOEFL app, by fax, or by mail. You may want to check in after 4 to 6 weeks to find out if they have reached. On the test date, you can choose to cancel your TOEFL score if you feel you can do better on another attempt and not having ETS send your scores to the 4 institutions included in your test fee for free score reporting. You can also reinstate your cancelled TOEFL score within 60 days of the test date for a $20 fee. You can request a review of the responses in the speaking and writing sections within 30 days of the test date for a fee of $80 each. Many candidates want to know about TOEFL exam samples, exam papers, and mock tests for practice. TOEFL practice tests, especially timed ones, can be very helpful to reach your target score. The test-like environment created in practice tests helps prepare you for the testing mood on the day of the actual test. The ETS website provides a bunch of preparation resources like free sample tests, practice questions, preparation tips, and more. We'll share their links and some additional resources in the description below. Spend a few minutes to browse through them. Take a mock test to see how far you can be from your target score. While MBA Crystal Ball does not provide test preparation support, we sure can help you with the application process that follows. Drop us a line if you'd like professional help for your MBA or master's applications. Good luck!